Hello vets, this is Michelle Ladd reporting from the National Veterans Foundation in Los Angeles, California. This week, the NVF fielded 160 calls from veterans on the toll-free Veterans Hotline. These calls were on subjects ranging from employment resources, GI Bill info, VA benefits and VA healthcare, as well as crisis calls that were handled by our Red Phone specialists. Now, all calls to the hotline are answered by knowledgeable, live voice experts on veterans issues and affairs. If you need help, any kind of help, the toll-free number is 888-777-4443. Again, 888-777-4443. And we have more to report. This week, the NVF's Homeless Outreach Program brought their services to over 500 homeless vets in the LA area, distributing hundreds of bottles of water and 150 meals to homeless vets. The NVF outreach team also referred 24 homeless veterans to housing and counseling programs. This has been your weekly report from the National Veterans Foundation. If you'd like to see more Veterans Television, stay on the screen for the current segment of the Veterans Nation, or to move on and take a full visit of the NVF website, just click the NTV button below. Thank you all for your service, and welcome home. Yeah, so Lori says you're never sick.
What my wife says, yeah, she told you that, huh?
Yeah, Lori said you're never sick.
You know what, she got on me the other day because she had a stomach ache, and I'm going, man. I said, you're 15 years younger than me, woman. And I'm never sick. What's up? And she goes, well, you got all those shots to go to Vietnam, and she says, you're probably immunized for life. And I went, maybe I am. Yeah. Maybe, I mean, you guys all have shots.
I think we're well preserved.
How many shots did you get to go to Iraq?
I have no idea. I know the only person my age probably has a smallpox vaccine.
But you had tons of shots.
Oh, yeah. I think I've been vaccinated fully for hepatitis B twice.
Do they still use the air guns?
Yeah.
They used to inject us without needles. They had these air guns that would, like, high pressure air would inject the fluid right through your skin.
Really? No, no.
And we used to walk down this line where there was guys on both sides of the line ready with their guns, and you just walk down there.
I remember the conveyor belt.
Like a dozen
on the butt, shot the arm,
shot the other arm.
Yeah. Well, and now, you know, kids, all the parents that are not immunizing their children have an idea that anyone going into military service, they're going to make.
Oh,
yeah, damn sure that y'all have everything.
Yeah, anthrax, everything.
Yeah.
Well, you know, maybe then military veterans are the ultra immunized species.
Only time will tell. We'll see. I don't know.
Y'all are Captain America in real life.
Because you guys didn't have anthrax vaccines back then, right?
No.
Yeah, we have a series of, I think it's like 15 or 16 shots for the anthrax vaccine now.
God.
I mean, I guess time will tell and see what it does to our
bodies. Of course, that's one of the problems they were having with Gulf War illnesses. They were giving them certain pills for, I don't know if it was anthrax or some kind of nerve agents.
Yeah.
And they turned out to cause problems.
We got malaria pills, and those things will give you side effects.
We got plenty of those.
All right, I'm going to table this, right?
Table it.
Hello. Welcome to Veterans Nation. I'm Michelle Ladd, filling in for Kelly Smith, who is in the Philippines on her reserve duty, flying her C-130.
She is. All right.
And this is co-producer Rick Seaman and Trevor Scott here, 101st Airborne.
101st Airborne. Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, it's dedicated to segment. Today, this segment is dedicated to the 11th Armored Cavalry Division.
All right. There they are.
Did you know they have been around since 1901?
Wow.
Really?
Long time. Started in Virginia.
They've been all over the place. I mean, Vietnam, Iraq.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm assuming they weren't.
And many other places.
I wonder if they were an actual bona fide cavalry division in 1901, or if they actually started as armored.
Back then?
Well,
something.
Okay, there's an interesting proposition. When were the first motorized tanks?
Yeah.
Because the 11th AC, you know, they work with tanks and APCs and all that.
In 1901, I bet they're still using some horses, maybe.
I would think. I would think. I mean, that's pre-World War I.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
All right.
So.
Thank you.
Speaking of tanks.
right, well, here is the latest on the ongoing and, in all fairness, foot-dragging efforts of the VA and the DOD to implement some sort of electronic interagency exchange of medical records as opposed to the archaic current system that we are using. All right, here we go. The House Committee on Veterans Affairs sent a bipartisan letter to Department of Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel, urging him to follow through on a February 2013 plan to improve disability benefits claims processing for transitioning service members and veterans. The mutually agreed upon plan that the DOD and Department of Veterans Affairs struck calls for the DOD to begin the transfer of complete and certified service treatment records to VA immediately, with electronic transfer capabilities to be in place by December 31st of 2013. All right. We know that the Senate has recently made this same sort of call of duty, but I mean, what is it? You know, another
when
foot dragging effort for
more lip service.
More lip service. What, to buy another? What, 6-7 months?
Right.
In December.
We've been waiting long enough. You know, by December 31st of 2013, it's predicted that the backlog will reach over 1 million.
Dear God.
Yeah.
Which is just ridiculous.
I mean, these people are hurting. They need medical treatment.
Yeah.
You know what we should do? Let's get on the phone and let's reach out to IAVA. I think Derek Bennett at IAVA would be a good guy to talk to if we can get him on the line. Let's give it a shot. Rydell, patch us in, will you? Hello, Derek Bennett, IAVA. Are you there?
I'm here, Rick. Thanks for having me.
Hey, great. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Yourself?
Good, good. How's that New York weather? Are you in D.C.?
I'm in New York today, and as probably any other day in New York, it's pretty variable. The sun was out, and it was raining a few hours ago.
Wow. Okay. Well, our sun's shining here like it's supposed to for once, you know.
And I'm incredibly jealous of that.
Yeah,
Believe me.
yeah. So I'm here with.
Hi, Derek. I'm Michelle Ladd. How are you?
Hi, Michelle. I'm well. How are you?
Good, thanks.
And I'm Trevor Scott.
Hi, Trevor. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Great. Thank you.
Great. So, Derek, on the subject of backlog, we know what's going on there. We've been hearing about that for a long time. When you take that situation and put it up against another issue that we've been hearing about for a very long time, the transfer of records between DOD and VA becoming electronic instead of paper.
Yeah.
Tell us what IAB is doing on these issues, where you guys have fit into the hearings in Congress, and hopefully give us some good news.
Yeah, I've got some good news to give you. Unfortunately, not enough. But let's start just a little bit with the problem, which is, as you rightly pointed out, these electronic records are a great idea. But unfortunately, today, as we sit in 2013, a year that when I was born, I thought we were going to be flying around in rocket ships, we have 95% of all veterans' records are still on paper. And that's been complicated. That complicates the claims process, obviously. It's amazing to me that they're still on paper. You may have seen, your listeners may have seen some of the pictures of VA facilities, particularly in North Carolina, that are about to be condemned because of structural damage from the weight of the paper of those claims. I mean, it's unbelievable how antiquated this system is. On top of that, the DOD and the VA have been trying for the last several years and have spent hundreds of millions of dollars on a compatible electronic health record system that, as of 2012 and now to 2013, they haven't been able to solve. They can't get their two systems to talk to one another. So the problem for a soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine who leaves the DOD is that their record doesn't automatically transfer digitally to the VA. So they have to carry around a sheaf of papers with them, sometimes folders and folders full, in order to get the medical attention and benefits that they need.
All right.
What we've been trying to do is recognizing that over 900,000 claims are pending right now for the VA, and of those 900,000, about 70% of those, or about 670,000, are backlogged, which means they've been waiting for adjudication over 125 days. We've called on the President to demonstrate his leadership to end that backlog. The VA has said that they can end it in their current system by 2015, but unfortunately 2015 is still 2 years from now, and there's still a lot of folks that have been waiting already 2 years to get their claims adjudicated. We don't think that's acceptable. And I think more and more that the American people hear about it, they realize that's not acceptable either.
Right, and not to mention the number of backlogs we have now is bound to grow as we wind down in Afghanistan.
That's right. You know, as Afghanistan winds down towards the end of 2014, is what we're projecting right now, both DOD and VA say that about 1.1 million veterans will now enter the system between now and then. We imagine that they will obviously file claims, and we don't see a real solution for increasing that backlog. Just today, a few hours ago, the VA held a press conference, and they announced that they were going to expand some provisional authorities across their organization and tackle the backlog and try to adjudicate any claim that was more than 125 days old, but within about 60 days, which is A, good news, but B, insufficient, right? That's also something that they could have done a year ago or 2 years ago. The good news wrapped in that is that this is clearly an issue of leadership, and it's clearly an issue of the American people holding their elected leaders responsible, and we feel some pride in being able to get at least that much accomplished, but it also demonstrates that where there's a will, there's a way, and the more pressure that's applied, we can solve this problem together collectively.
That sounds like a plan. So,
well, we'll do our part on this
yeah,
end.
there you go, vets.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk about what is, a really critical issue. And I would invite you and your listeners to go to our website, iava.org, and sign our petition, which calls on the president to demonstrate his leadership to solve this problem once and for all. We've seen a lot of traction amongst the other veteran communities that have joined us in asking for presidential action, as well as some congressional leaders. The Senate Veterans Affairs Committee has been asking some really tough questions of the VA finally, and most recently the Nevada delegation to Congress sent a letter asking for, a bipartisan letter, to express their concern for the growing backlog, and I think that's what it's about. It's about citizens and it's about communities recognizing that our wounded warriors and our warriors aren't getting the support that they were promised and that they need.
Yeah, and Derek, you mentioned this this petition, so they can go online and do this petition online?
That's right. If you go to our site, iava.org, you can sign the petition. We've got 50,000 Americans that have signed it so far, 25 members of Congress, and those are increasing as we speak.
Wow. Well, hey, vets, you hear that? So let's take that number from 50,000. Let's take that up to like 100,000 as soon as we can.
Yes, sir.
And, it's kind of an amazing irony. IAB has been so proactive, since their beginning, and IABA is into the veterans world electronically.
Yep.
Just like with your online petition you're speaking of, Derek.
Yes, sir.
So isn't that amazing that the petition we're signing with IABA is to get the government to maybe get as electronic as IAB is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, hey, Derek, that's great info. On behalf of Veterans Network and the Veterans Nation show, we thank you for your time. And keep up the great work back there, guys.
Thanks very much, Rick and Michelle and Trevor. Appreciate you guys taking time on this. And thank you very much for having me on. I'd love to talk to you more about it at any time.
Thank you. We appreciate what you're doing.
Okay, take care, man.
Thank you, you too.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
All right, thank you again, Derek. Oh, wow, I don't even know what to say. I mean, first off, I've got a couple solutions, probably pretty non-PC. The first one is, how in the world are we going to go to socialized medicine if we can't even protect our veterans who deserve this treatment and they're waiting so long to get it? But that's different.
Well,
the second thing is,
point.
I've got a way to help with the unemployment situation, or to help with people who are getting food stamps and need to be doing some work, right?
And there's plenty of them.
And there's plenty of them. I say if you're getting food stamps or whatnot, you put, an hour, 2 hours a week in doing data entry, entering all these veterans' information into a computer database.
Right.
Two problems
There's
starting to get
vets
solved.
too who could use the work.
I mean,
Right.
It's probably a good idea, but think about it. Put yourself in Secretary Shinseki's shoes. He's going to say, no, we need qualified people to do this so we get the record straight and we don't make any mistakes.
Yep,
but
then train them.
Where is VA? Where are your qualified people? We already know you have a shortage of them right now. So what are you going to do? I don't know. And again,
but data entry isn't hard.
We've
I
been
know that.
covering this for 3 years on Veterans Network.
Yeah.
We interviewed Bob Filner 3 years ago when Panetta was VA secretary.
I remember that.
And
I remember
Bob
that
Filner, when he was chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee in the House, he said, I'm going to get Shinseki and DOD in a meeting once a week, and they're going to discuss this until we get it fixed. I wonder
a lot of meetings.
I wonder if that really even happened. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. You guys have seen the videos, though, right? The rooms filled with files just stacked from ceiling to floor.
Oh, yeah.
The floors are caving in. And
yeah, North Carolina, the floor's starting to come through. Sure.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
Well, anyway. All right, so sign that petition. Get
sign
your family,
that petition.
get your friends,
Absolutely.
sign it.
Yes.
IAVA.org.
Right.
All right. Well, it's time for one of our brief and informative breaks. We'll be right back.
Coming home can be hard if you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan. You may feel like you're all alone, but you're not alone. At IAVA.org, your fellow vets are all around you. Join our free online community, get the resources you need, and connect to other vets who know where you're coming from. IAVA.org. We've got your back.
We are back, and here's something worthwhile from Joe the Vet.
Hello. Joe the Vet here once again. Freedom isn't free. We've all heard that statement before, and we know it can have several meanings. For instance, us hard-working Americans pay our share of taxes, federal, state, and of course our towns and counties, they have their fingers in our wallets too. We don't whine about it that much. No. We don't have time to whine because we're too damn busy working our butts off to house and feed our families. Now, I'll come back to that part in a moment. In the meantime, I'd like to say hello to all of you deadbeats out there, all of you deadbeats that take advantage of our tax dollars. Now, there's some of you who really need it. You need help. You're in need. And when you're in need, those tax dollars are there for you. That's a good thing. I'm not talking about you. No. I'm talking about you chickenhead peckernecks who abuse and take advantage of these gifts. You need to get your heads out of your butts before somebody writes a bill that'll get your asses tossed out of here. Okay, back to where I was. It's payback time. I have a few connections around the government and Congress, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to author a bill, and it's going to be titled the Infantryman's Tax Credit Act. That's right, the Infantryman's Tax Credit Act. That's right. It's for the U.S. Army and Marine grunts who live and bleed in the bush, in the desert, or wherever else they're called to go. They don't sleep in tents or barracks. No, they eat out of a pouch, they eat out of a box, and they sleep, crap, and bathe once in a while in the jungle, the sand dunes, and the pungent swamps. And when they're not enjoying these comforts, they're busy cleaning their weapons so they're ready for when the enemy arrives and there's a big battle that might last for days or weeks on end. They are unique. They are the ones who truly have to embrace the suck. They are the backbone of all warfighters, and it's time America said thank you. I'll be talking about crunching the numbers on this very soon, so stay tuned. This is just the first notice. Joe the Vet, out.
Thank you for that, Joe.
That Joe the Vet, man, he's on it, huh?
Yeah, great ideas.
Got some good ideas.
Great ideas.
Okay,
well, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, folks.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Country boys don't rock and roll. Yeah, the record band told me so. You'll never get it on the radio. Why they trying to complicate the simple?